Good morning, everyone. I'm coming to you live from the top of my RV, and we moved campsites again, if you will. I'm actually staying with a friend in a regular house for a few days here in Arizona, and we'll be back out to adventures on the highway, living in the RV pretty soon. I do want to say I apologize for screwing up the title of yesterday's lesson, and I'm glad that it was brought up to me, and I hope that it brought forth an opportunity for all of you to forgive me for not reading it perfectly. And I guess, yeah, I saw what I saw and I interpreted what I interpreted, and hey, boop, I'm letting that go. That was yesterday. So it's funny because today's lesson number 289 of A Course in Miracles, the past is over, it can touch me not. So how perfectly that I can receive some corrections and be able to say, I did my best, I tried, I'm reading the lessons, I'm doing the work. And you know, I appreciate the opportunity to be corrected and to see what it feels like and to see how I respond to it. Because after all, I think that's what this work is really about. Not about what happens, but how you respond to it. And check in with myself. I feel okay. I do. I really feel totally fine. So thank you again, and let's go ahead and get started. I just heard a lot of coyote song in the background. I hope we hear a little bit more. Possibly, maybe. All right, we'll just jump in here, and if I hear any, I'll stop so that we can enjoy it together. All right, lesson number 289. The past is over. It can touch me not. Unless the past is over in my mind, the real world must escape my sight, for I am really looking nowhere, seeing but what is not there. How can I then perceive the world forgiveness offers? This the past was made to hide, for this the world that can be looked on only now. For what can be forgiven but the past? And if it is forgiven, it is gone. Father, let me not look upon a past that is not there, for you have offered me your own replacement. In a present world, the past has untouched and free of sin. Here is the end of guilt, and here am I made ready for your final step. Shall I demand that you wait longer for your son to find the loveliness you planned to be the end of all his dreams and all his pain? Kind of leaves you with a excitement about the future. Okay, so for what can be forgiven but the past, and if it is forgiven, it is gone. For what can be forgiven but the past, and if it is forgiven, it is gone. Today is the last day of the shamanic de-armoring program that I have been participating in here in Phoenix. It's been 2 weeks long, and what we've learned is how to use our life force energy, which is your sacred sexual energy, in order to heal your life. There's a lot more to the program, and I would encourage anyone who's interested the littlest bit to go ahead and look at the website that I shared a few videos back. I'll share it again on this video here. But I think that the way that my body now feels after having participated in this program, which is very, very physically focused in many ways, I don't feel like I'm holding the same, I'm not holding any of the resentments that I had 2 weeks ago. And I'm not saying that lightly. I literally feel like during this program, I released the desire that I had, or the natural inclination that I had because of developing these defense mechanisms inside of my body since I was a little girl. I have released that. And it doesn't mean that I'll never be triggered again. It just means that when I am triggered, I'm going to be in the present and not dig all the way back to several years ago or all the way down into my childhood to play out these wounded child manifestations or wounded teenager manifestations or wounded adult manifestations. I really feel that I'm in the present, and I have this lightness that I don't ever really recall feeling before. And not that I've done more work than anyone else in the world, but I've done a lot of spiritual work and done a lot of learning and growing, and to combine an activity that focuses so much on your releasing trauma and pain tapes from your physical body, and doing a lot of shamanic teachings around basically how to be a sacred human, it just really clicked for me. So everyone's path is different and everyone's at a different pace with their learning, but I would highly recommend checking out something like this, because it can put you on a track that saves you a lot more years of work, where you're kind of understanding what's going on, but you're not getting into your body and releasing the trauma, so that you don't have to go there every time you get triggered. So anyway, yeah, today feels like it's going to be the end of something beautiful and the beginning of the rest of my life as a new human. All right, so let's see what a year of forgiveness has to say about lesson 289. The past is over. It can touch me not. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one you know as Jesus. Today, we want you to think about how often you talk about the past, because you're wasting your time. You're talking about something that does not exist anymore, and you are contaminating the present moment with the past, even if that past memory is a good memory. This may upset some of you. Do not spend a lot of time thinking about the good old days and how good things used to be. You are then assuming by that memory that today is not as good, and that to find a feeling of joy, you must go back to an imagined time that allows you to feel better. Now, that might be better than going into an imagined past that makes you feel worse, but it is better for you to be present. And in that presence, you should acknowledge that this is the best day you've ever had. Why? It's because you are in presence. You are becoming aware. You are becoming conscious. Memory must be managed as your current thinking is managed. If you are in conversations with people and find yourself telling old stories all the time, be aware of that and realize that you are not using the present moment for what it can be used for, which is communion, sharing your current feelings, sharing your current excitements, and sharing your current visions for a more happy and loving future. That is what you should be doing with your present moment, getting every experience you can get out of the eternal now. That is how you grow. That is how you expand. If you always go to the past to retrieve memories, you will stay the same. And that will guarantee that your future will look like the past, because that is what you are referring to as your preferred state of consciousness. I am that one you know as Jesus, and we will speak to you again tomorrow. Wow. So that's just something to have awareness of when you're thinking about the past, even the good memories. That's something I never thought about. It's taking you out of the present. So just keep an eye on that when you're having conversations with anyone. Oh, there's some coyotes off in the distance. When you're having conversations with anyone and you find yourself bringing up stories from the past, maybe you're bringing up stories from the past because you feel uncomfortable for some reason and you don't know what else to talk about. So you're kind of like scanning your mind for what would be a good conversation to have to keep you from being in the present. Just have an awareness of that and laugh about it. Like, oh gosh, look what I'm doing. I wonder why I'm avoiding this. I wonder why I can't just be in this moment with this person and have a legitimate, authentic conversation about right now. Who knows? Even if it's a good memory, it's just something to take into consideration. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with noticing that you're uncomfortable, or maybe you lack confidence, or maybe, you feel like you want to avoid some emotion that you think might happen if you engage in a present moment conversation with a person. Whatever it is, the mind is so clever. The ego is clever, and it will make you believe it's helping you, defending you to keep you safe. but there's nothing to be afraid of. And in the now moment, in the present moment, everything's a-okay. All right, so the past is over, it can touch me not. It's a great meditation for today. And once again, thank you for pointing out to me the mistake that I made yesterday when I was reading the lesson. And I went ahead and fixed the written part of it. But yeah, it's great. And I totally am letting it go. I forgive myself. And I appreciate all of you very much for being on this journey with me. We are doing this. We are getting there. These lessons are making a huge difference for me and helping me understand myself. And I hope that it's having the same beautiful, healing, loving effect on you. Mwah! Thanks again. I'll see you tomorrow.